Hello, my name is Prime and welcome back to ETS2 Showcases, and today I'm going to be checking out the 1.50 experimental beta for Euro Truck Simulator 2. Now as a quick disclaimer, I am not using any mods in today's video. I have removed all mods from the profile to make sure that if I see anything wrong within this experimental beta, that it is due to the beta itself and not a mod incompatibility. Therefore, everything you hear and see today is Euro Truck Simulator 2 in all its glory. Now I've already had the chance to try out 1.50 in the ATS version of the update, so I'll have that first look video up in the cards above. However, there are plenty of new features here in ETS2 that I'm very excited to try out. And in fact, this delivery that we will be completing today happens to be within one of the major sections of 1.50, that being the Switzerland rework project. So today we are here in Geneva, Switzerland, and we're going to head over to Bern. Not a crazy long delivery today. However, it's going to be a wonderful delivery indeed. The Switzerland rework is one of two rework sections included with 1.50, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But there are plenty of other features as well, including this trailer that we're actually hauling this contaminated material with, that being the Wielton Container Master trailer, a wonderful addition for anyone who happens to own the Wielton Trailer Pack DLC already. As a quick summary, this trailer comes in two configurations, the longer configuration, which we're using today, and a shorter version. And in terms of accessories, you can change certain things, for example, the side guard, and then a few other accessories towards the rear of the vehicle. If you already own the Wielton Trailer Pack DLC, pretty much every accessory from the frame down that you would normally do for any of the other trailers is available on this Container Master trailer. Now, besides the new Wielton trailer, the reworks, and the other great features that are coming in with 1.50, arguably one of the biggest talking points is the brand new user interface, or UI, for ETS2. The brand new modernized UI uses a layered or stacked menu system. I have been using this now for quite a bit, both here in ETS2 and ATS, and although there are definitely some pros and cons, overall it's not too hard to get used to, and in some cases makes life a lot easier. So for example, if we wanted to check out the world map, overall the whole UI has had a little bit more of a clean feel. We still have the bottom what's called taskbar of your more recommended pages that you may see in the menu system that are recommended based on the page. However, at the top you can now go to the home page quite easily, and you can also find a vertical menu where you can navigate to any page no matter what's on the bottom without having to exit out. Once again, there are definitely pros and cons to the new UI. Some will like it, some will not. However, as I mentioned, it really didn't take me long to get used to the new UI, and I am actually really enjoying a few of the features. However, I have been talking way too long within this intro, so let's go ahead and get this MAN TGX started up and get on the road. All right, let's go ahead and get rolling. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I certainly am. It is fantastic to be back here in ETS2. A little bit longer break between episodes than I would have liked, in full transparency. However, it is once again great to be back here in ETS2 and playing on the experimental beta. So as I mentioned earlier in the intro, this is an experimental beta. Yes, I am not using any mods. However, you will most likely see things wrong within this period of beta. So experimental beta, for those who may not know what the difference is, and that would be completely fair, is something we haven't seen yet in ATS and or ETS2. And in fact, what we are seeing here with experimental beta is essentially a less polished version of an open beta. So as I mentioned, in especially new areas such as Geneva, reworked areas in particular, especially here in ETS2, there will be most likely issues within the game. Now, the game has been both ATS and ETS2, because they are running pretty similar timing on 1.50. Obviously, ATS came out first for 1.50 experimental beta, and now ETS2 has followed. However, there are still some issues that persist, and there have been many new additions in terms of graphic and other improvements, which I'll talk about in just a moment, that definitely can cause some problems along the way. So if you see anything, please don't be too alarmed. That is not going to be something that will necessarily translate through to the full release. SES Software has been working hard at correcting things. As mentioned, the game has been continually updating, and the community has been giving a lot of feedback. And I must also say a huge thank you to everyone who has been supporting the channel recently and also giving your feedback on 1.50, whether that's on ATS or the ETS2 side of things. I know it has been going over quite well, in all honesty, and I am glad to see that everyone has been enjoying it, for those who have, of course, opted in. And if you haven't opted in yet, or maybe you don't even own ETS2 and or ATS, but we'll talk about ETS2 mainly today, well, hopefully you're just enjoying watching the content and seeing what kind of stuff is coming for the games. So what overall is coming for 1.50 in ETS2? Well, maybe the biggest talking point, or two of the biggest talking points for the game, would be the brand new reworked section. So obviously we are here in Switzerland today, the beautiful region that is Switzerland, and it has been reworked, and I am so happy to see that. It is so great, and I mean, I'm going to be doing more of the highway kind of deliveries to a certain degree today. However, I will be doing some other deliveries here in due course around the area, so definitely keep an eye out for that. I'm going to be doing more episodes here on ETS2, more so than I have done admittedly in the past, so keep an eye out here for those who want to see more of the content around here, because, well, there's Switzerland. There has also been the Germany rework, and particularly focusing on the Rhine region. The Rhine region of Germany has received a bit of an update, and well, at least some of the area of it, so that is also great to see. So once again, another brand new area of the map that has been reworked here in 1.50. As I mentioned earlier, as I was talking about it and what we're hauling today, this is the brand new Wielton Trailer Pack DLC Container Master Trailer. So obviously you can haul standard containers and then obviously more hazardous containers or tanks basically on these trailers. There's a short version and there is also a longer version, which of course I am using today. So that is always great to see. But full transparency, why? Because it's a full disclaimer, you must own the Wielton Trailer Pack DLC. I'd hope that would come to a bit more of an obvious thing, but I want to make sure that is clear. You have to own the Wielton Trailer Pack DLC to, of course, experience the trailer that I have in tow. So keep that in mind. Now, besides that, major part of this update across the board for both SES Software games, that is the brand new UI, a talking point that some have been definitely on board with, some have been against it, and to be honest, initially I was a little bit more in the middle. I know a lot of you will say, well, Prime, you're always neutral with stuff. Well, yes. Yes, I am at times. I have been also quite decisive at times as well, but I also wanted to make sure I gave it a benefit of the doubt. And ultimately, I have come to the conclusion that the new UI really hasn't impacted things for me. In full transparency, would I like to have seen a little bit more color come with the UI? Yes. But there are other aspects of the brand new UI that I actually really like. Well, first of all, it looks a lot cleaner because it is made for higher resolutions. Big plus in my books. There's the addition of tooltips for the menus, a huge plus. There's also TAA, or temporal anti-aliasing, which is part of the settings or part of the graphics improvements, which I'll segue to now, kind of. But TAAs plays a huge part, and along with the tooltips, you can then actually understand what you want to, well, change the settings for, and what do they actually do, which is a very big part of, well, trying to go through settings, and it makes my life a whole lot easier for, well, even future tutorials. Was talking about, or updated tutorials even, on getting started with ATS and ETS2 and so on. I'm not having to do, well, either going off of just my strict knowledge, or if it is having to do extra research, it makes it a lot easier because it's direct from source. You can figure out what it does. So I have been really enjoying the tooltips. I've been also really enjoying, well, the view. Well, actually, just now, because I haven't actually been doing any form of content here in ETS2. Well, this is my first look, so that would make sense. Our customer expects delivery soon. A little bit of a hiccup when that message came up, but it's okay. We'll get there. It took a little while to do my intro, so we're not too concerned about what the customer wants today, though. We're more concerned about exploring this beautiful update. Besides the UI part of the graphical improvements, there have also been some, well, other major graphical improvements along the way. So obviously TAAs, or temporal anti-aliasing, is the more flagship feature of the graphic redo. There's also new soft particles which also interact with light, and there's been a different way in how it's computed as well. So that is really cool to see. There's some just extra detail along the way. You can now turn off far shadows, or enable them for that matter, and as far as I know, that is all enabled here today along with TAA. I went through the settings. A lot of it came on automatically, which is thankfully that is the case. However, Just had to confirm that. So as far as I know, fire shadows are enabled, and I haven't noticed a performance hit. Saying that, I do have some pretty powerful PC equipment that I am fortunate to be running, so keep that in mind. Another thing to go along with that, though, is the addition of a frame rate limiter, something that I utilize as by recording. Now, I mentioned it in the ATS video, but for those who may not have watched that video, I use the frame, well, before I have monitors, well, I still do, and I use them. I have monitors that can run up to 144 hertz or 144 frames per second. However, when recording, to make sure that everything is as smooth as humanly possible, long story short, 60 frames per second does not go into 144 evenly. There's a whole complicated method with recording in the style that I do. If I am running or if I'm recording and the game is running at any other frame rate basically than 60 frames per second, in which I record the videos to upload here on the channel, you are going to notice some weird kind of hesitating every here and there, or even some skips and just some weird stuff, because either frames are being dropped or they're being duplicated basically to try and make up the difference in the uneven calculation. So the frame rate limiter, or prior, I always had to just set the game to just run at 60 frames per second, and that'd be my monitor kind of hertz and frame rate. Now I can just limit the game, so it technically makes things easier. It really doesn't change anything, I'll be completely honest when I say that. However, it is just nice to be able to set my the frame rate of the game to a certain number, so then in theory things should run a little bit better. And I can also, by doing that, running at 60 frames per second, even when recording and stuff, because obviously when I do stuff on my own time, I play at a higher refresh rate and take advantage of it. But when recording, I want to, actually we need to go exit here. When I'm recording, I want to make sure that things are as smooth, and I can also run the games run more reliably at 60 frames than a higher refresh rate, because it doesn't take as many computer resources. So I'm always happy to kind of experiment some things out, and to be honest, I'm happy to see that the frame rate limiter is here, because it has definitely helped make things a little bit more simple in the graphics configuration, but that is there. And so for those who have lower end PCs, I think you will probably find that a lot more handy than even I do, to be honest. Now we're going to try and get over here, because oh, never mind, the lanes are merging anyway, so I guess we didn't have to do that, but that's okay. Could look ahead there, Prime. That would always do you some good. However, besides the frame rate limiter, the MAN TGX apparently have had a bit of a facelift. Now, the blog post did not specify at all what was going on with the MAN, so I am not sure if it is this particular model, the newer model, and the particular the Lioness trim. So I am not 100% sure if this is the truck that has been redone. I was trying to look over some of the options, and I didn't notice anything, saying that I am not stereotypically known here on YouTube for being the most observant of YouTubers in terms of changes. So take everything like that or take some of my observations with a grain of salt. I do beg you to. But besides that, that is apparently in the changelog. I covered that in my Prime News video on it, but kind of just brushed over because, to be honest, didn't have a whole lot to talk about there. There's also the addition of lane assist. Now, I don't actually know if I have it enabled here in ETS2, because in ATS I realized, because it is still an experimental beta, obviously, and it's one of the main reasons why the experimental beta here exists even over the open beta, is because of the lane assist feature, which has two different modes. Technically, where if you drift towards an edge, it will beep at you, and then it'll tell you you should probably get back in your lane. However, there is also another version, which is the more complicated one even, where it will then correct your steering and center you back in the lane. Now, it's a cool feature and one that a lot of vehicles in modern day have now, but it is not, well, I found it annoying. Now, part of it is just because I can't stay in my lane for the life of me. So once again, that is a problem. But so it's a bit of an excuse, I guess, for me just to say I'm driving fantastically. However, it is an experimental beta. I want to give it some more time to kind of give it a chance for a more fair evaluation. But besides the lane assist feature, which is a really cool feature and one that has been worked on for quite some time and will be a really cool addition once it's kind of polished out a little bit more, the brake squeaks. So apparently, if I go on the exterior here and absolutely jam on the brakes, apparently the brakes are supposed to squeak. Now, I have yet to be able to make any truck in ATS and now here in ETS2 squeak the brakes. And apparently some of you have had the same thing. Now, I'm not sure if it's, oh, big herky-jerky screen glitch there. That's lovely. I always love to see that. Experimental beta, folks. Experimental beta. Oh, I gotta love ETS2. It can turn on a dime. I have yet to been able to make it squeak, and I want to clear that menu. Thank you. Don't want it all over the place. And apparently a lot of you have had the same thing. Been unable to get the whole thing to, well, make the noise. I was looking through options, and as far as I know, everything is enabled that would potentially make it have a sound. So honestly, not 100% sure what's going on there. Maybe it's certain trucks, maybe it's certain truck condition. I do not know. If you have any more information on that, though, please let me know. That would be fantastic, because I want to try it out. Really want to try it out, but I don't know how to get it to do so. So I've got my hands tied. We're going to keep trying, and then eventually we'll find a truck and hopefully trailer combination that makes things squeak. Now, there is a chance that I missed some things throughout this video. I think I've covered everything that comes in with 1.50. There are plenty of things that have come in with this update. Once again, you can check out my ATS video, which I have linked up in the card above, and I will also add in the Prime News video for here on ETS2, where I go over the official changelog that is coming in with 1.50. Now, that is also to say that this is the experimental beta, and there could be more things added as things go along. Now, the blog post is on the ETS2 side, as far as I know, kind of had some hinters. I definitely know it did on ATS, where there could be more things coming. Now, on the ATS side of things, we have a new DLC that will be releasing quite soon. On the ETS2 side, it's a little bit different, but there is still more content that is on its way. Obviously, the Renault E-Tech T, something that I did not do a Prime News on. However, it is coming shortly after 1.50, so that is going to be very interesting indeed. But there could be more things coming along the way, so just keep an eye out here on the channel for more information. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.